choice. He just decided to go with it. Looks like he's going with it again, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, something different. Alright, looks like they're both off here. Did he start on the 2-player game or something? Or?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He had a little trouble getting the timer lined up. But we see Svenne picking up the mushroom in 1-1 and moving on. Looks like Dooley's just going to roll, perhaps without. As we see a death from Svenne in 1-1. He's going to have to re-enter that stage. Give it another go here.
Yeah, probably not the way he anticipated starting, but, you know, in terms of places that die, it's one of the better ones, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're already it normally, so you can kind of just redo that same strat and keep going. You see Dooley did clear out 1-1 there. It's moving on. And there we go. Looks like Svenne's got a solid 1-1 under his belt there. It could definitely be a lot of nerves. It's pretty nerve-wracking to have to race against somebody in a setting like this. So
yeah, when you only get one attempt, I mean, it's a different story than if you're doing PB attempts even.
Yeah, that's definitely kind of a weird thing. Is like you make a mistake in an RTA setting and you just go, whatever, I'll just reset. It's no biggie. But when you're going into a tournament race or any sort of race, it's a whole different mindset to have to think, I have to just keep going, like whatever happens to me. So can be very, very interesting to see how players adapt to situations that they more than likely won't see in an RTA setting. We see Dodgemaster using that tail to fly up, grab the whistle that we all learned about in the Wizard. This is the Warpless category, so he won't be using that whistle, but it is the fastest way to beat the stage, which is why people pick it up. We see Svenne able to actually grab that leaf with P-speed and fly all the way up. So nice little time save for him there.
So we see DodgemasterDooley actually opting to keep the tail here in 1-5. Generally, you see people damage boost like Svenne just did there, which allows you to obtain P-speed and run through the rest of the stage. So he's going to pick up a bit of time here, being able to do this. Looks like he actually went for the swag tunnel there.
Yeah, it looks like he did go for the tunnel. Saves frames if you get it, I think, but not able to get it. Did take a hit, but there's a pretty easy mushroom to pick up in 1-6, so he'll probably be grabbing that once he enters that stage. But yeah, it looks like DodgemasterDooley deciding to stick with the tail. It's a little slower overall to use a tail, as you kind of see how Mario's horizontal momentum is kind of shunted a little bit when you jump in the air, and also you see that P meter just ran out. Anytime you have the tail, it just instantly runs out at a certain time. We see Svenne taking a death in 1-6, but he's right back in it. So in general, you'll see runners either with like Big Mario, Small Mario, or Fire Mario going for optimal strats. But Dooley picks up the Fire Flower here from the Hammer Bro. I'm thinking he probably kept the tail in 1-6 just as a safety there. So
yeah, that P-speed can kind of be annoying if the frame check for the P-speed occurs over that gap. Obviously, you're going to start to lose it, and then you end up losing a bunch of time. So at least with the tail, you don't have to deal with that, as well as worry about jumping on the Koopa and the timing of that as well.
Yeah, we saw Svenne have a little bit of trouble get that P-speed. Took him an extra try or two to get it, but he did eventually get that jump. So fairly close so far as we move into the World 1 airship.
Yeah, and important note, Dooley was able to actually pick up this Fire Flower on the Hammer Bro, so he got lucky there, and the Hammer Bro was on the correct block for that. But Svenne will be able to pick it up here in the airship. Be interested to see if either of them go for a fire kill here on this Koopa Kid.
Yeah, Larry's a Koopa Kid that the fire kill isn't too horribly difficult to do, but you want to kind of make sure you're doing like just the right thing, because any sort of mistake kind of loses any time you would save from that fire kill.
Yeah, pretty much. Looks like Svenne actually opting to go for it here, so that's kind of cool to see one runner opt to stop him, the other one opt to kill him a little quicker there.
Yeah, it looks like he did pick up a little time there by getting that fire kill. We're not exactly sure if we're completely synced in terms of start times, DodgemasterDooley had a little trouble getting his timer started, but looks like he does have a slight lead as we move into World 2.
Yeah, Svenne unfortunately took a few deaths in 1-1, so I think that kind of put him back a little.
Yeah, for sure. But this is a game in a category that has many ups and downs, many twists and turns. No lead is safe in this category, as we've seen throughout this tournament. Things can change instantly.
Yeah, I think we saw a great example of that last night with the loss of Horstad race. I mean, that was just changed up right at the end.
Yeah, the run really is not over until Bowser's dead. We learned that last night.
I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like once you make it to World 2, you get a little bit of a reprieve. I don't feel like this world's all that dangerous outside of maybe, jumping on that wood block there sometimes can give you some trouble.
Yeah, World 1, the game tries to teach you a lot of the new mechanics that they're introducing in Mario 3, and since the levels in this game are so short, they kind of really squeeze everything together, like really, really tightly. So actually moving optimally through World 1 is pretty tough. You see in World 2 and World 3, they kind of open the stages up a little bit more, making them a little easier to traverse quickly. So I would definitely put World 2 as being a bit easier to run through than say World 1 or some of the later worlds. So definitely one of the easier ones.
Yeah, and looks like DodgemasterDooley actually getting some P-Speed there a little later. Svenne doing the same. There is a really early P-Speed strat that's pretty tough to get. It requires you to do some really accurate jumping off the steps. We also see a lot of people opting to go for some alternate, fairly early P-Speed strats. You can, stomp on some of the dry bones to do that, or run on some of the platforms and scrape most of them to get that. So.
Yeah, we see Svenne having a bit of a cleaner start here to this World 2. Does take a slight lead. He's going to fight this Hammer Bro, which I believe is the music box. Normally, you do want to avoid that bro, but Svenne might have a reason for grabbing that bro. I'm not sure of his route, and he could make up some of this time here later on in World 5. There's another music box he might be able to skip. But so far, our runner's moving through 2-3. DodgemasterDooley making sure he gets that Koopa shell kicked, whereas Svenne breezing through the stage pretty nicely there.
Yeah, actually ends up taking the... Ooh, that's unfortunate. Just timed it a little early there. Yeah, I think he figured the shell was going to go down there, which is why he went down. But he just waited one cycle, or he went one cycle too early. And I should note, it's not the worst to fight the music box bro in this world, because as you mentioned, most of the time you end up having to fight the one and one more anyway, because most runners end up using it in World 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's plenty of ways around it, ways to make it not be a complete loss of time, so... Something you try to avoid, but sometimes you just don't get the option, and sometimes it can work out just fine for you.
So Svenne actually getting a nice P-Speed strat there in 2.5. I should mention it's a little slower than 2.4, but it is much simpler mechanically to run than 2.4. So you see a lot of runners opting to do that one instead as a result.
Ooh, questionable hitbox there for Dooley, just barely touching the edge of that sun. Takes a death in the sand level.
I feel like sometimes when you hit the sun there, you don't take damage, or it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's times where I feel like I've seen people be inside the sun and it doesn't hit them. Hitboxes in this game just, I don't know how they work.
Yeah, me either. I mean, yeah, wait till we get to World 3, and then we'll be talking more about that as well. Ooh, having a little trouble here on the sun stage. The stage can be kind of troublesome if you don't stay out in front of the sun. The easiest way to deal with the sun is to stay out in front, because as soon as you try to turn back, the sun's location on the screen actually doesn't change.
Yeah, this is definitely a stage about confidence. If you just blaze through it doing the same thing you always do, you should be able to make it through just fine. Looks like Dooley does finally wrap up the sun stage there. He'll be moving on. Probably, yeah, looks like he's going to head down to 2-5. Meanwhile, we've got Sven, who moved to the pyramid. Pretty difficult stage. Looks like it went pretty okay for Svenne. And he is on Morton's airship now.
Yeah, he's going to grab the fire flower here, so it's nice thing about these first two worlds, the airships have the fire flower for you that you can grab. Looks like DodgemasterDooley taking a little bit more damage there in 2-5, but he's able to make it out a lot. He's going to end up fighting the hammer bro with the hammer here, and how we know it's the one with the hammer. So after he moves, he actually turns to the left. And so the bro with the hammer in this world always turns to the left after moving. And we'll use that little tech to figure out where some of the other bros and some of the other worlds are as well. There's actually a viewer, I think, of Mitch's stream that figured that out originally earlier this year, so kind of cool tech there for those of you that aren't aware. Yeah,
some brand new stuff that we really didn't know about until just recently, and it's a major help, not only in this category but in 100% as well. It has some uses, so it's really cool. Really something that makes this game's luck a little less brutal at times. It looks like Svenne had a pretty clean Morton fight, gets out of World 2. He'll be heading into World 3.
I don't know about you, but World 3 is probably my least favorite for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, World 3 is a stage, has some really tricky stages to have to deal with. It also has some of the worst luck to have to deal with as well. You'll see after Svenne clears through one here, in the top right of the overworld, there'll be some bridges that move up. And there's actually an alternating set just off screen in the second half. And basically what you want to be able to do is clear out the first few stages of World 3 and also fight both Hammer Bros. That'll set up the bridges in a way where you can cloud over 3-6, head straight to 3-8, and effectively skip most of the second half of the world. But that all depends on not dying anywhere at the beginning of World 3 and also on those bros cooperating and letting you fight both of them. So that's kind of where the luck really pays in, is if those bros don't stay put, they can run away, and then you just have to deal with some extra time loss for no reason.
So Svenne actually made it through 3-2 there without taking damage, which isn't as easy as it sounds, because the Cheap's hitboxes can be kind of questionable at times, where you'll jump perfectly on them and they'll just go right through you and you'll take damage. So a great job not taking any damage there. And he did actually go for the early P-speed strat there, but didn't quite get it. It's one of the more difficult grabs in the game.
Meanwhile, DodgemasterDooley wrapping up his Morton fight. He'll be heading on to World 3. So about a 2-stage lead, maybe a little more with this cutscene for Svenne. So he's out to a little comfortable lead so far. Oh, that Hammer Bro has moved up to that top right corner. That's kind of the dangerous position. Hopefully he does not move over to the right after this stage here.
Yeah, based on odds, generally speaking, he shouldn't, but it seems like he does it more often than not, unfortunately.
Yeah, the Hammer Brother movements, like how they decide where they want to move, there's this whole weird routine to it. Okay, he does move down there, so Svenne's gonna sort of roll the dice here. He could have moved up to 3-4 and made sure that he fought that bro, but he just has to get 2 not bad movements in order to be okay here. But yeah, they don't kind of rely on just oh, I have a 50% chance of going up, 50% chance of going down. There's kind of this whole thing that they decide based on where they're facing, and I don't know. It's really complicated. So it's not quite just a straight luck decision, but a lot of times it seems like they're coded to give you the absolute worst possible movement.
Absolutely. He actually got the best luck I think he could have got there in terms of the movements. So
yeah, they worked out pretty nicely for him there. Being able to fight both of them before 3-4 is pretty nice. So good job there, and cleans up 3-4 pretty cleanly. So here we'll see him use the cloud that he got for beating World 2, cloud over 3-6, straight to 3-8. And this is very important that he obviously doesn't die in this stage. If he does, he would basically have wasted that cloud for nothing and have to go through 3-6, which is an auto-scroller stage. And wouldn't you know it, the game decides to put in the one-hit KO wonder that is Boss Bass into the stage we have to be extra careful to not die on. But looks like Svenne's out just fine.
Honestly, you know, just the best mechanic in the game. Just random one-hit KO enemy. I'm trying to think, like, is that the only enemy in Mario that does that?
Gosh, are there any other one-hit KOs? That might be. If it isn't, it's one of very few that just instantly kill you no matter what's going on. Yeah, normally Mario's pretty fair about that kind of stuff, where, oh, you just take a hit, it's okay, but not with Boss Bass, you're done. See you later. Yeah. Try again.
They're like, oh, we're gonna give this enemy no hitbox, but it'll just instantly swallow you if it jumps at you. Important for him to maintain that Fire Flower there because he's going on the airship here, and Wendy's definitely a boss that you want to maintain the fire for. It makes the fight much easier. So with her mechanics, with her wand, she actually spawns rings on the map or in the level, and they actually never leave. So as you continue to stomp her, more rings populate, and it can be kind of tricky to start dodging those. Unless, of course, you're really good at the stomps, and you can get her before she shoots off another.
We did see a runaway over on DodgemasterDooley's screen. We also see him electing to use a P-Wing and move into 3-5 here. This is a strat that, I mean, you normally do use a P-Wing in this stage, like in the 100% category, but normally you want to preserve your P-Wing, so looks like we're getting a little bit of a route deviation from Dooley. I'm interested to see where he goes from here.
Yeah, I wonder if that means he's going to grab an extra P-Wing then from both Worlds 4 and 5 in that case.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. There is a P-Wing that normally is skipped on the route, but so it looks like he's going to go into 3-4, perhaps wants to not take the death, and he can get up to a Fire Flower in this stage, so maybe that's kind of his decision here. As we see Svenne moving into the Wendy fight. Very clean fight there from Svenne. Nice job there. He's got about a 1743 wand grab from the World 3 airship.
Yeah, hopefully Dooley gets some good luck here. Oh my goodness, that's a
oh no. So, yeah. Now he's going to have to fight this bro, and that's going to change the bridges once again. And so now he's pretty much set. He's going to have to take a death in 3-6. Or beat the stage, but obviously taking the death is the faster option.
Mushroom houses do not move the bridges.
Yeah, it's only a stage that you can die in, more or less, that will cause the bridges to move.
Oh no.
Oh! Has some bad luck with that Koopa Shell, takes the death. So now he's going to have to complete 3-6, and he doesn't have another cloud to use. Meanwhile, we see Svenne with a pretty solid 4-1 there, able to get the P-speed and keep it throughout the stage.
Yeah, we don't see 3-6 very often, and this is the reason why.
Honestly, it's, of all the auto-scrollers, it's one of the more fun ones. There's some options and some spots that do some swag with the donuts and some green blocks and whatnot. But yeah, this is, you know, obviously since you don't have to play this stage in Warpless, this is something you want to skip over. So looks like DodgemasterDooley kind of has an idea of what he wants to do in the stage, though, which is good. Sometimes you see a runner, this is one of those things where you would just automatically reset. You wouldn't even think about doing 3-6 in an RTA attempt, but looks like he's fairly comfortable with it, which is good.
Yeah, I've actually heard some runners like Mitch talk about potentially doing the stage instead of taking a death and saving the cloud, because then you don't have to re-grab the fire flower. I actually kind of wonder which is faster.
I'm guessing you probably can't find a stage long enough that extra cloud's gonna really help. Losing fire is pretty bad, but it's not the absolute worst thing that could happen to you. But I mean, I haven't gone through and tested it all to make sure, but I would still say probably just taking the intentional death.
Well, I'm trying to think, and based on my thoughts, I'm guessing that World 8 Fort would be the longest stage through the rest of the game, so that's the one you'd optimally
you'd probably cloud over like 7, 9, and 8 Fortress in that point, I would say. Something like that. It's probably closer than it seems initially, because it's like, oh, why would you do an extra auto-scroller? But just pure conjecture would say probably faster to take the death and move on. It looks like Svenne has made his way through 4-4. Did take a hit somewhere along the line, but there is a Fire Flower coming up in a few stages that he'll be able to grab, as we see Dooley wrapping up 3-9 here. Interested to see what Svenne decides to do with these Hammer Bros here. One of these bros has a star, the other has a P-Wing, and generally most runners will get either one P-Wing from the bros here, or they'll get one from the bros at the beginning of World 5. Looks like Svenne is opting to use a music box here at the beginning, or at the end here of World 4, so he's going to more than likely press his luck at the beginning of World 5 to try and get that P-Wing.
Yeah, at the very least, it's easier to tell which one has the P-Wing in World 5. As well as he did have the extra music box, too, so, I mean, but yeah, if I recall correctly, I think the P-Wing in this world moves to the right.
It faces to the right. I have it written down in my splits, because otherwise there'd be no way I'd remember. So yeah, the P-Wing faces to the right in this stage. I didn't see how they were looking when he decided to use that music box. I'm not sure if he went based on that, or if he just went on the fact that he couldn't be for sure that he wouldn't have to fight the stars. So.
Yeah, the interesting thing is usually you don't see it till the screen transition too, so it's already faced the direction it does after movement, so it actually faces left when you screen transition because...
Oh, right, yeah.
So yeah, he's entering the longest, well the slowest auto-scroller in the game. Not the longest, second longest.
Yeah, World 4 has the great decision by Bowser to scroll at half of the normal speed of any other auto-scroller in the game, so it's 2 minutes of breakneck speeds and lots of fun.
Yeah, he was just like, I want to make this airship look twice as long just by making it move half the speed.
He's like, Bowser's just like, all right, maybe the obstacles aren't working. Maybe I can just bore Mario to death. And it honestly almost works.
It does every time.
So we see DodgemasterDooley moving through 4-1 here. Oh, and Svenne does take a hit. He's a small Mario now. He can pick up this mushroom here, which will get him back to safety. But he definitely, we've been making fun of how long this auto-scroller is. You definitely don't want to die on it. You don't want to have to go through this again. And Iggy is one of the Koopa kids that can jump really high really fast, and sometimes you just fall through his hitbox. So you definitely want to at least go in there big, so that if you do get that unfortunate bad hitbox, you don't take a death for it.
Yeah, as you mentioned, definitely can be an annoying fight just for that reason alone. Though, if you go for the fire kill, he's actually not super hard the fire kill, depending on what movements you get prior to going.
Yeah, that's one I haven't personally worked into my repertoire yet. Is the Iggy fire kill? Just something I haven't looked at yet. Mostly because I don't want to have to go through the World 4 airship just to set it up. Like I'm just like, I don't want to go through all this just to set up a save state. Like it's too hard. I'll just take the time loss.
Well, then you got to set up a bunch of them too, because sometimes you might fight a bro between.
Yeah,
you might get a movement of 2. You might get a movement of 4.
Oh, it's so much. It's so much. I don't want to do that. I'll just wait for somebody else to like make the save states and just give them to me and then go from there. But yeah, we see Svenne wrapping up that Eggy fight. He's got a pretty solid lead at this point. DodgemasterDooley, excuse me, having to deal with all those unforeseen and unfortunate circumstances in World 3.
Ooh, Svenne unfortunately taking a death there in 5-1.
Yeah, loses his iframes just at the wrong time.
Yeah, I believe when you go from Big Mario to Small Mario, you actually have less iframes too than you do when you lose a double upgrade, right? Yeah.
On the NES version, for some reason, your iframes last a little bit longer when you're going from Big Mario, or when you're going from a Fire Flower or Tail to Big Mario compared to Big Mario down to Small. I don't know if that's just some way that they coded it, because I mean this is coded differently than in Super Famicom or in the Famicom version where you go straight to Small Mario at any time. But yeah, just a weird little quirk that you kind of have to be cognizant of. If you take a hit, you go, okay, exactly how long do I have before I can take damage again?
Makes it through the to the upper section of 5-2 nicely. You definitely want to make it to this section, as I well know. Falling down to that lower section is much slower and much more treacherous as well. It's actually so slow, it's faster to just take a death and retry.
Yeah, if you fall down in that pit of despair, it's a really it's one of the worst sections in terms of just like there's just enemies and ice blocks and it's just bad. You don't even want to go through it quickly. So yeah, meanwhile that top side really not that bad. So I think we've seen earlier this evening we did see one of our runners, Rupert83, have to go through that bottom section, and it was not a fun time.
Ooh. And DodgemasterDooley making his way through World 4 Fort 2. A lot of lava there, so obviously it can be kind of dangerous if you miss some of those jumps on the donut blocks, but other than that, it's not too bad. Or it's not too long, anyway.
There you see Svenne making his way through the tower. Does get P-Speed there in that second room.
Yeah, that's really important to get for dodging those thwomps. You can dodge them without P-Speed, but it requires some really good duck time.
So a little bit of bad luck again there for Dooley. He uses the music box, but then the bro does walk down on top of him. It is the P-Wing bro, which is nice. At least he's got that P-Wing, but I think he was looking to hopefully skip both of the bros there. But looks like he's going to be moving on to the World 4 airship now as Svenne wraps up the tower.
I wonder then if he normally clips in 7-6 as well. Or maybe, you know what, I bet, here's what he does. I bet he maintains a tail through 7-2 because it makes 7-2 a lot easier.
That's a pretty common strat we've seen from a lot of different people, is just keeping that tail through 7-2. All of this routing that we're talking about is really going to come. You really kind of see it come into play in Worlds 6 and 7. That's really where the item usage starts to become really a main factor in how people get through the stages. So it's always interesting to see kind of how people get to that point. We see Svenne taking a hit, but does know where that backup mushroom is and grabs it and moves on. So getting out of 5-5, he'll be on to 5-7.
Yeah, 5-5 is kind of an annoying stage, but thankfully they give you a couple easy to grab upgrades that you can do quick as well.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 power-ups in 5-5. If you include that Tanuki suit that's in the hidden area, like I think they kind of knew you were going to be taking a lot of hits there.
Of course, they didn't put any fire flowers there, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, it's all tails. But luckily, there is a fire flower here in 5-7 that Svenne picks up and is able to actually regain that P speed. Oh, I didn't think he would quite get that, but very nicely done to get that.
That was actually really cool. I don't think I've ever seen that executed quite that way.
Yeah, it's a strat that not a lot of people go for. I think it like just barely saves time, if it does even save time. But the degree of difficulty on it much higher than it is.
Whoa!
And
We never see that one.
Goes for the kamikaze clip. All right, so what Svenne just did there is basically it's a sub-pixel perfect trick to clip Mario into the top there. But if you miss that, you actually just fall into the lava and die. So it's a very risky strat, and it only saves about 6 seconds overall, so it's something we don't really see people go for. But Svenne just decides to just throw caution into the wind and go for it, and nails it.
Yeah, I was actually doing that in practice earlier today, just for fun, and I was talking to Mitch about it, and he says you actually have to duck and jump on the same frame.
Just everything about it is very, very difficult. So it's not something you see unless a runner is just trying to swag out to the max or trying desperately to kill or save their run. So it's one of those kind of desperation moves. So really cool that we did get to see it pulled off.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's the only time we'll see it, but
I mean, you might not be wrong. At least it might be the only successful kamikaze clip we see. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So Svenne onto the World 5 airship now, as we see DodgemasterDooley making his way into 5-2. Being very careful here to make sure he doesn't fall.
Yeah, I don't blame him there. I started taking it safer in races too, just to make sure I don't fall. I
mean, better to take like half a second to make sure your jumps are right than to waste the year and a half that it seems to just fall down that pit. Like, I definitely don't blame him for that.
Yeah, I straight up, I'm pretty sure I lost my first race just because of that. Like, that would have saved enough time to win.
So, Svenne heading into the Roy fight here. Roy's a little bit of a trickier fight in that when he lands on the ground, he causes it to shake. So just got to make sure that you're in the air whenever Roy's about to hit that ground. Svenne clears it very nicely there, and he'll be moving on to World 6.
Yeah, Roy's the first thick boy that we see. Ludwig's the second one, which we'll see a little later. I noticed that Morton and Roy look the exact same, but Morton doesn't jump like he's thick. You know, Morton actually gets up.
Yeah, do you think that like Morton just has a really big shell and he hasn't grown into it yet? I think that's my theory.
Yeah, that must be it, because like, he's definitely an athlete.
Yeah, he's got a really puffy face though. Maybe he's just just hasn't quite grown into his body yet. He's one of the younger Koopas, Maybe he hasn't hit Koopa puberty yet.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe Roy's got some like knee problems now or something.
I mean, that probably there's no way you're jumping in the air causing an earthquake. There's no way you're not having some sort of problems with that.
Yeah, and it seems like Ludwig even, has more trouble jumping than he does, so that seems to make sense. Maybe it is an age.
Yeah, Ludwig's, he's seen enough at that point. He's like, alright, whatever, fight Mario again, I don't even care. So we see Svenne using both of his power-ups there in the iframes to run across those spikes instead of having to take the lift. He's going to grab this star, hopefully keep it all the way into the Boom Boom fight. Looks like he's doing a good job of that so far. And then one fell swoop is just going to instantly kill Boom Boom there. Very nicely done.
Yeah, anytime you flood Boom Boom's health like that, you get that upside-down question mark to spawn, and you can actually do that with the Hammer Suit in World 8 as well in the fort there, but you don't see that from too many people.
Boom Boom health is like everything else in this game, just really, really coated. Oh, we see Svenne missing a jump there, takes a death in 6-4. Luckily, you're already small when you're entering this stage, so not going to be the biggest time loss. You're just going to have to basically redo that stage. So, of all the places to die, 6-4, honestly, one of the better ones to take.
Yeah, 6-4 is honestly, deaths here are acceptable. It loses hardly any time, as you mentioned.
Yeah, a lot of the time loss that you'll see from like a death or something like that is just trying to get back to, you know, whatever power-up state you were at. So if you do die in a stage where you're small to begin with, or where you're big maybe and it doesn't really matter, it's not nearly as costly as, say, losing your Fire Flower before World 3 or something like that.
I think, unfortunately, the bros there went on a little bit of a marathon after he died.
Yeah, it looked like they moved around a little extra than normal. So, and they look like they're kind of in his way here, so he's going to have to be at the mercy of the bros here after he clears out 6-4.
And he actually gets the correct bro there, so very nice RNG.
Yeah, now he's just got to hope that that other bro decides to walk over to the right and not walk straight down on top of him. We'll see if he gets lucky here or not. And he does.
Now, yeah, he's going to skip him. That's great.
So yeah, that other bro there has a star. We saw that first bro had a cloud. So obviously the cloud lets you skip over stages. Definitely something you want. That star not needed. So some good luck there from Svenne. Able to get the bro he wanted and skip the one he didn't. And
It's
does
a
get the
despawn.
despawn there at 6-5. Very nice.
Yeah, that's good. That's one of the tricks in this game that I really can't explain to people, because like you can tell when it works, but just like how it works, I don't know.
Yeah, I generally just say like you want to get a lot of stuff on screen, so when the game tries to spawn that nipper, it just can't. There's just no room for it to do so.
Yeah, and it definitely matters how far you get to the right too. Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into having way too much on screen, but that's kind of the real high level look at it, is that there's just too many things the nipper doesn't have anywhere in the game to spawn, so it just doesn't show up. Yeah, we do see Svenne stopping off that mushroom house to pick up a hammer suit, so he'll more than likely be using that come Bowser's castle.
Yeah, it makes that fight really easy with Bowser. You just throw 4 hammers at him, and then he just, you know, dies a terrible death, and you're on your...
Yeah, it is a bit slower, unfortunately, since, you know, obviously you have to wait out that cutscene and grab the hammer and all that good stuff, but it does make Bowser a lot faster and a lot less scary, so pretty good decision, I would say, for a lot of newer runners to pick that up.
Yeah, I feel like anybody that's above even a 55-minute time, it's pretty solid strike.
Yeah, I think I picked it up until, I was in that like 56, 55 range, so honestly that time loss really not a big deal at that level. So Svenne gonna use a P-Wing here and just fly straight over 6-9, nice and easy. And he'll be on to 6F3. We have DodgemasterDooley entering the World 5 airship now.
Fun fact, 6-9 is actually the hardest level.
It's at, like, actually optimizing 6-9 is impossible. I don't understand how people get 296 in that stage. There's black magic and sorcery involved.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
I get 295 and I'm like, alright,
hit A at the right time.
Yeah. Oh, I think Svenne was trying to do the clip there, but it's a sub-pixel dependent clip. You can do everything right, hit the exact pixel you need to get in the clip, and the game just decides, no, not happening today. But that's a smaller time save. Doesn't save quite as much as some of the other clips that you can do in the game, but cleans up the fort nicely.
Yeah, I think that one saves between 6 and 8 seconds, depending on how quick you get your P-speed back and all that other stuff.
Yeah. So you see DodgemasterDooley in the Roy fight now. Looks like he's timing his jumps pretty nicely there. Cleans up the kill easily.
So yeah, we have Svenne entering the World 6 airship. It's really important for him to maintain at least, you know, having Big Mario going in the World 7 so he can do the clips in 7-1. And I mention this pretty much every time I commentate. You can actually clip in a 7-1 at Small Mario through the pipe, but it's really difficult.
Yeah, it's a completely different kind of setup to do the small clip compared to the normal big clip that we see, and it takes a lot of extra effort and setup, and it's one of those clips that you can do everything right, and the game can just decide you're not quite on that right subpixel in order to get in. So, very, very important that you just keep your big throughout Lemmy. Luckily, Lemmy's a pretty straightforward fight. Usually don't have any struggles with him.
Yeah, he's honestly the easiest Koopa Kid in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say either him or Larry. Both are very, very straightforward and easy. Especially if you know what you're doing with Lemmy. You see some Lemmy shakes over on Svenne's screen. Lemmy blessing the run with those shakes. I really want to know why those shakes happen. I want them to happen all the time.
This looks like you're making him scared.
I know, he looks terrified. He's like, oh god, I don't want to fight. Like, he just wants to chill. I think Lemmy, I really resonate with Lemmy. I think, you know, he kind of represents me as a person, as a Koopa Kid. We see DodgemasterDooley not quite getting that movement to boom boom quite quick enough, but he recognizes that and takes the normal jump kill there.
Yeah, he kind of got P-metered there a little bit.
Yeah, he got really close to having that full P-speed and then just, I think, jumped just a little too soon, so didn't quite have it. As we see Svenne going for the 7-1 clip here. Looks like he might have gotten subpixeled once there. See if he can get that right setup and get a good... Oh, and there he gets in, so not too bad. I think it was, what, 5th or 6th clip?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Yeah, I think it was like 6.
Definitely will take that. We've seen some absolutely tragic 7-1s throughout this tournament in terms of getting into that stupid wall.
Yeah, Booba and I were actually talking about it after his race, and we're like, man, we're considering like clouding that level or P-winging it or something, because this is ridiculous.
It really, like, sometimes just for whatever reason seems impossible. Like, even if you're not getting subpixel, just getting yourself a good attempt, just it's a big mental thing, honestly, just to like keep trying at it when you just keep missing it and missing it and missing it.
And you see a lot of people not opting for the duck too. I think some people are kind of afraid of the rogue up press.
Yeah, that's definitely happened. I think we haven't really, for whatever reason, I think the only real thing that we've figured out is that having a crouch jump for that first jump is maybe a little bit better chance to be successful, and then after that it doesn't matter. For me, I just find it a little easier personally to just jump instead of having to time a crouch jump, but you know, it's just one of those things, like, you find something that feels comfortable for you and you just stick with it, and you just gotta hope.
Yeah, one of the problems with the crouch jump too is generally you slow down a little bit, and how fast you're moving does matter in terms of when you're trying to.
Yeah, if you don't time that jump well, you'll start to lose some speed, and the more speed you have trying to go for a clip like that, the better. So it is a little bit of a riskier move there. So we see Svenne with a pretty solid 7-3. Does take a hit there, but really not a big deal. He'll be clouding over a stage and then more than likely using a P-wing, so power-up state not too important here.
So I think Dooley actually went through the pipe to avoid some of those, I think they're beetles, right? The guys that throw the ice blocks.
I had the... Oh, man. Yes.
Yeah, they're the most unique enemy, I think, in the game, or one of them. Well, the fire nippers maybe are a little more unique.
I'm kind of a big fan of Spike, honestly. He's just like rolling around and just spits out this giant spiked ball that he has somewhere in his body. Like, that ball is bigger than him. Where does he keep it? They get even more ridiculous with Spike later on. Like, eventually they start like spitting up like entire spiked balls or like bars. Like, I don't understand how the physics of that work. We see Svenne going for the 7-6 clip here. Pretty much the same thing as the 7-1 clip in terms of setup. Unfortunately, you have a little bit of less room to kind of build up that speed. So this clip can generally be a bit tougher. We do see Svenne does pull it off. I'm not sure if he's down a P-wing over his normal strats here, or just wants to use a P-wing later on, or maybe save it for some safety, but does get through nicely.
I think he just wants to hit every clip in the game.
That could be a thing. Could be a personal goal. I don't know. He's going to 7-7, so yeah, maybe it's just a clip war here. So this is another clip that you need to get some pixel precision in order to get. He's going to try to clip into the corner of this pipe. Decides to. He gave it one good shot and then decided just to play the stage here.
Yeah, I've seen that one a couple times, but it's really tough.
Yeah, the setup is really funky to get in the first place, and then getting yourself lined up just right. There's a lot to go into it, and then it's just not even up to you completely. So, I don't know if it actually saves time over playing 7-8 or not. I don't know what the actual timing is on all that, but I know going into the pipe and playing through 7-7 like Svenne just did is a little slower than actually playing 7-8. So.
Yeah, 7-7 is a little easier though in terms of just the enemies. And,
by far, yeah.
Unfortunately, we won't get a look at the hammer suit, which you can get in 7-8. And I mentioned those fire nippers are at the end. I swear their only reason for being in the game is just to show off the fact that you can become invulnerable to fireballs as the hammer.
That actually probably isn't too... I'm willing to accept that. I'm with you on that one. Because I don't even think Patuis are even anywhere else than that stage, are they? I don't think they show up anywhere else today.
No. Yeah.
It probably is. They just have that one there, and you just do it, and you're good. That's deep lore. That's deep lore. I'm willing to accept it. You see Svenne having some trouble trying to get these clips. The 7-9 clips are actually, you're able to, as you can see here, build P-speed before them. So you don't have to worry about any sub-pixel craziness. You just have to do the jumps right. But Svenne having a lot of difficulty trying to get into this first clip. Meanwhile, we see Dooley wrapping up 6F3. He'll be moving on to the World 6 airship.
Yeah, unfortunately, these clips don't have the greatest visual cues either in terms of like stuff on the ground. You just kind of have to time.
Yeah, it's a lot of just kind of learning the timing of it. He does get the first one, so interesting to note here. He does get the second. Okay, so you're actually in a way kind of stuck in that first clip because the game doesn't expect you to get in there from that way. So there's no way to get out except to clip to make that next clip. So he tries the third one for a little bit, decides to give up. Looks like he's just going to play the maze out here.
Yeah, it's worth noting there's actually a clip you can do into that coin section there as well. It's a little tougher than the other ones because you have a gap, which you can't jump when you're over gaps.
Yeah, that one spot you really want to actually kind of make your approach jump for is right where that gap is. So you have to kind of completely change your approach for that one. So looks like Svenne is going to use his music box to put that plant to sleep, use his cloud to skip over 7F2, and he is on to the World 7 airship.
Yeah, it's worth noting 7F2 is almost always faster than 7-9, unless you can get some good clips.
Yeah, I have still yet to time and see what the time difference is. I have recordings of a good 7F2 and a 444 clip in 7.9. I haven't seen what the difference is yet because I'm just been too lazy with it. But if you do clip through it fast enough, I think 7.9 does end up being just slightly faster. But obviously, as we saw from Svenne's side, that's very difficult to do. So in general, if you're going for kind of that fastest route, you'll see runners heading to 7F2.
You have to time it weird too because you have to wait to stop the timer till after the lock breaks, which is an animation you don't get after beating a level. So it's kind of.
Oh yeah, that's also a part of it. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. So much stuff in this game.
Yeah, so many little things that insignificant until you get up there.
Yeah, like just so many when you can't just directly. Oh, we see a nice second try clip there from Dooley, but yeah, it's really hard to just directly compare a lot of things because there's so many extra little tiny. Well, you lose a second here, or you save us half second there. It's just it's a whole thing. But we got Svenne in the World 7 airship. As you mentioned, the World 4 airship is the slowest. The World 7 airship is actually the longest. It ends up, even though it scrolls at normal speed, being it's just a little more than twice as long as the World 4 airship. So it does end up being the longest auto-scroller in the game.
Yeah, the World 7 one seems to actually be multiple airships.
It kind of does, yeah. Like there's like 5 or 6 of them, and then there's like they got like little like wingmen going on too. Like this isn't an airship. This is an armada. Let's call it what it is here.
Ooh, gets stunned.
We see Sven gets spun. Okay, he's able to get out of it. A lot of times, when you get locked or when you get stomped by Roy or Ludwig, they can just lock you up, and you can't really do anything about it. But luckily for Svenne, able to get out of it. Does wrap up. Looked like about a 50-minute flat one grab for him.
Yeah,
that's scary though, man. Like any time that you don't get that jump and Ludwig stomps the ground, you can go from fire to dead in an instant in that fight.
Well, the other problem with him is he only jumps about an inch off the ground too, because as we mentioned earlier, I don't know what it is, but he just does not jump.
No, he knows. He knows. It's like, I gotta stomp as quickly as I can. Oh, we see Dooley taking a death in 7-3 there. Shouldn't be the worst thing in the world though. As he will more than likely be using a P-Wing in 7F1, so just has to get through this stage and he'll be okay.
Yeah, I think he might have initially planned to not use a P-Wing there, but he ended up losing his tail in the fight with Lemmy, actually.
Yeah, he did have a tail going into that fight, but then did lose it. So you're gonna have to do a little bit of scrambling here. I'm interested to see what kind of decisions he makes to kind of get back to where he wants to be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Did he end up fighting both the P-Wing bros? I know he fought the one in World 4. I don't recall if he fought the one in 5.
I think he skipped past the one in 5. So,
okay.
Yeah, he does have, I think, 1 P-Wing at this point. Oh, he does have a second one there. Okay, so he's okay on P-Wings. So maybe he used another one later on, because I just saw that 1 P-Wing in his inventory and thought maybe that was the only one. Or no, so he used... So maybe he did fight the one in 5 as well, because he used an extra one, but maybe fought an extra one.
Yeah. Ooh, Svenne taking some damage here. This is another stage you really don't want to die on. It's pretty long. And unfortunately, where he died, he's not going to be able to get the boat fire grab either.
Yeah, so he's going to be without fire for a little bit here. Not the biggest problem, as he does have that hammer suit in his inventory. And that Bowser kill is really where that fire saves the most time. But having fire does save a little bit of time here and there throughout World 8.
Yeah, and it definitely makes the fast airship easier, too, to be able to take out those rocky wrenches with fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, who are we kidding? Usually you end up playing hands anyway, so speaking of hands...
Yeah, we should talk about hands. Talk about hands. Let's talk about hands.
So in the next section here, where he is going to transition after he beats this boat, there's going to be a section of levels called the hand bridge, and there are 3 levels that can pull you in automatically, or you can skip over them as well, but it's a 50-50 chance whether each one will pull you in. And they're called the hands because there's a hand animation that actually does the pulling and pulls you. Yeah, as I did mention, 50-50 for each stage, so if you do the math, then a 1 in 8 chance of getting no hands, or a 1 in 8 chance of getting all the hands. So if you end up getting all the hands, you actually got lucky, just not the lucky one. And then, as far as the guessing game goes, you got to guess the number of hands both runners will get, and keep in mind that our runners could play a hand more than once as well if they end up dying.
Nobody dies in the hand stages.
No, nobody dies in the hand stages. Sometimes you die in the fast airship, though.
Yeah. What a video game, man. How do people play this game?
I don't know. It's torture, honestly, but it's so fun.
Oh, you see Svenne grabbed by that first hand, which I think at this point we can confirm first hand is actually 95%. It isn't 50-50. I don't care what the game code says.
And it's also the worst hand.
It's also the slowest one to have to go through. And you don't even get to like run through it. Like you just have to kind of make your way through the stage. It's by far the worst hand. Oh, we see the second one for Svenne as well.
Yeah, and you gotta hope not to get sniped by Hammer Bros. It's just awful. It's just avoid it at all costs.
Yeah, at least like the second one is fast and easy. The third one has a fire flower and you can at least run good, so.
But then you get the cheaps. As previously mentioned, they have the greatest hitbox.
Yeah, so somewhat of a saving grace for Svenne. He does get all three hands, but he's able to pick up that fire flower in the third one. So back to that power-up state he would like to be at, but does have 3 leaves and a minute of time loss for his troubles.
Yeah, the good news is he's gonna have 3 extra upgrades to if something bad does happen in, you know, 8-1, 8-2, or 8-4. It's not always the worst thing to at least play a hand.
Yeah, if you get one hand, it especially in like a race scenario, it's like, well, you know, I've got kind of that safety net in case something goes wrong in these upcoming stages. And these upcoming stages are no joke. World 8 definitely cranks up the difficulty in terms of stages, and doing these stages quickly is just as difficult as it sounds. So having that extra tail just in case something does go wrong can be a little helpful.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with A1's one of the more satisfying stages to do perfect, honestly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And speaking
See Dooley wrapping up the Ludwig kill. We'll be moving on to World 8.
So yeah, Svenne actually opting to not use a star here, and oh, he actually did get the P-speed, he just unfortunately missed one of those jumps. I'm told with the Fire Flower there to get that Koopa kill and get the P-speed, it's actually you have a single frame to throw that fireball, is that?
Yeah, there's one frame if you're going for that early speed. There's one frame to throw that fireball and have it be timed right, so that'll hit that Koopa. There's a slightly easier, different strat, but it does lose a little bit of time over that optimal strat. We see Svenne taking a death in 8-2, but decides just to barge back in, showing no fear.
Yeah, kind of a scary stage to be Small Mario in.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't opt to just use a leaf. Just jumps around a fireball. No worries. But looks like he should be okay as long as the sun doesn't control him. Yeah, he's out. He's out.
Yeah, you can do everything perfect on that stage in that situation, and then you just get sun.
Svenne using one of those extra tails kind of as a way to get through that first section quickly and also have a power-up to grab the Fire Flower. Oh, does take a hit, though. So at this point, it honestly might be better for him to just continue on, especially with that Hammer Suit in his inventory. Yeah. The Fire Kill on the Boom Boom's not going to save him as much time as getting a one-cycle fort will here. But does take another hit, so I'm interested to see what he decides to do. Looks like he's going to play it safe here.
That was the best.
Yeah, just pick up at least one more power-up. No, he's just gonna actually just use that small to not have to wait out the other P switch cycle. So just gonna take out Boom Boom and move on to the final auto scroller.
Yeah, I suppose he's got a couple more leaves too if he so chooses to use one for this next auto scroll.
Yeah, and I'm not
pretty good idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure he might be watching/listening the restream might have an idea that he's got a pretty comfortable lead at this point. Doesn't have to worry too much about stuff like that.
Ooh,
does take a death. So, but yeah, like you said, he's got some tails, but he's just he wants to conquer this small. He's not gonna use the crutch.
He's trying to do Warpless small.
That's a new hot category. Kuja got the world record in that today.
Yeah, I saw that. Congrats to Kuja.
That's a brutal category, small only.
Yeah, I feel like sub-hour in that category
Warpless.
is no joke.
I've done any percent small only, and it's like it's brutal. There's no backup. Like, you gotta be good, otherwise you just die constantly. It's the worst.
No missed jumps, or you.
Yeah, it's over. But yeah, 58 in that is pretty solid, especially because a lot of the time saves that you see in this category are due to having like a fire flower or a tail or something like that. Like, there's a lot of strats that your power-ups save you a lot of time, so it's just pure platforming execution with small only. So we see Svenne at the end here. Just gotta jump on Boom Boom 3 times and he'll be on his way to Bowser's Castle.
And we'll get to see the hammer. I'm not sure there's a more satisfying kill than a Bowser kill, the hammer suit. I mean, it really is that satisfying.
It really, like, he gives you all this trouble and all this crap throughout the entire thing, and then you just take him out easy peasy. As we see Dooley getting that first... Oh, and we see a nice little clip there from Svenne once again. So, doesn't overall save time, but honestly, especially with the hammer suit, the way he did that, this is probably a bit of a safer route through Bowser's. So
yeah, for sure.
And we see, yeah, just spamming those hammers to take Bowser's hit HP down to 0, nice and quick. And Svenne has just got to enter this door to take the victory.
Yeah, really good run coming out.
Yeah, lots of fun swag in that run for sure. And it looks like a 101.32 on his splits. Speed Racing has him at a 101.37, so GG's to Svenne. Congratulations on the win. We'll see if he wants to hop in here for an interview.
And looks like DodgemasterDooley taking some damage here on the fast airship, but he had a few upgrades, so you know, thankfully he was able to survive. One of the problems with this airship is if you don't stay ahead of it and you're not taking out those rocky wrenches, they can kind of add up in terms of the amount of wrenches on the screen. They have just enough time to turn back around and throw them back at you, so you definitely want to eliminate them as soon as you can. Looks like he's opting to take a safer strat here in 8-1, which I don't blame him. As mentioned before, this stage is no joke. Skips most of the bullet bills there in that first section.
Getting word from Sven, he doesn't really have the setup available right now for an interview, but does say he's pretty happy with that 5F2 zip. So.
I think we've seen just about everything in terms of the clips now in the tournament, which is cool because Cujo actually hit one in 643 yesterday.
Yeah, he did in the race against me. He got the 6F3 clip. So 7-1 small clip. That's the one we need. Who's gonna do it? Who's gonna step up?
Mitch.
Yeah, there we go. Who's Mitch up against? He's up against Chuck. He can probably afford to go for that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Chuck's not good or anything.
No, guy just puts up 52s and 53s like they're nothing. And see Dooley wrapping up 8-2 though. He's got just a few more stages to finish out his run.
Yeah, it's actually disgusting. There's a few racers like that in this tournament. Actually, Horstad's another one, and Mitch obviously too.
Yeah, there's killers all around. Like, I remember we had a tournament a couple of years ago, and I was most noted for getting a 57 in nearly every race of that tournament, and I got like 5th place. And now we're seeing like round 2 matches. You got to get like a 54, or you're done. Like, it's crazy the amount of skill people have gotten, and the amount of more skilled runners we've seen just pop up in the last couple of years. It's been really awesome. The scene is definitely growing. Nice little swag clip there from DodgemasterDooley.
We're not entirely sure what his time is because unfortunately his timer didn't get started.
Yeah, we'll just have to go off of his speed racing time here to see what he ends up with. I think he maybe somewhere around a 106 or a 107, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, unfortunately we're past the point where a PB is possible for him.
To answer a question, no, he's not going for it. But to answer a question in chat, there's actually two NES versions of this game. There's a PRG0 and a PRG1. The PRG0 mode has, I would say, some fancier names for the worlds compared to the PRG1. Kind of just names everything blank land. I don't know which version VC uses. I would guess probably would probably use PRG1. They usually use the most recent patch of it, so we'll see what we get from DodgemasterDooley here at the end. I didn't see what world name Svenne had, but other than text, there's no difference between the two versions. So either works just fine.
I don't recall, did he grab a hammer suit as well?
I didn't see it. Yeah, looks like he's just going to roll in with the fire.
Oh,
no, he does have one. Okay. So he will hopefully be able to carry that to the Bowser fight and have a nice, quick and easy fight. I feel like I've been wrong about every single thing I've been asked to keep track of with Dooley. Like, does he have an extra P-Wing? No. Oh, no, he does. Does he have a hammer suit? No. Oh, no, he's got it. It's okay.
I mean, it's one of these games where if you look away, things change really quick.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the, like, if you blink, you'll miss something, for sure.
Like, you know, the Jesus clip in 5-4-2.
So nice and easy hammer kill there for DodgemasterDooley.
Yeah, GG to him. GG to Svenne as well. Good run coming out from both of them.
And it looks like Speed Racing TV has him at a 107.52, so GG to Dooley. We'll see if he wants to hop on in here for an interview.
So in terms of what's next for the runners, unfortunately this is the end of the line for DodgemasterDooley, but Svenne moves on to race against Calco, which is going to be a tough race for him. Calco is a pretty good SMB3 player. I don't think he quite had the run he was hoping for last time he raced, so it'll be interesting to see if he does better this time.
Yeah, I think we haven't seen Calco's best just yet. He's a very, very accomplished runner of this game, especially for somebody who is kind of just now getting into SMB3 Warpless. Definitely more known as an SMW runner, but has very, very good times already in SMB3. So pretty excited to see the Calco-Svenne matchup. I think that'll be a really good one to watch. Let's take a look here. I thought I had our schedule up here somewhere. Looks like next up for us
tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, we've got no races tomorrow, but on Saturday we've got a couple of races. We've got a couple of loser round matchups. One between Pro A007 and Stewie Cartman, and another one between Narfman and your lovely host today, the Hacksaw. So good luck in that one, my dude.
Thank you. Gonna need it.
That's gonna be that. You and Northman are very, very close in terms of PB, so that's gonna be. I'm excited for that one. I'm probably not gonna be able to catch it live, but definitely gonna check the VOD on that one. So, a couple of good ones coming up on Saturday. We also do have a couple of races scheduled for Sunday as well. One between LK and the Call, and another one between Burakis and Kerbo. So. There's gonna be we're gonna be down a lot of people. These are all win or go home matches here, so gonna be some exciting ones to watch.
Yeah, and if I end up winning that one on Saturday, I'll be racing Sunday again too, so we could have 3 on Sunday action.
Oh wow! So yeah, that'll be crazy to watch. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. Looking ahead to what we've got on the Speed Gaming family of networks. Looks like tomorrow we've got some Mega Man X races, some Celeste tournament races, some more Super Metroid tournament races, a Link to the Past daily randomizer, also some of the Link's Awakening DX 100% tournament. I think that's starting to get to the nitty gritty of it. I'm not sure on that yet, but I think that's starting to get pretty deep. So check out that tournament as well. Lots of other great stuff. So. If you're looking for some quality runs, some quality races, definitely keep your Twitch browser dialed into the Speed Gaming family of networks.
And it looks like we're joined by DodgemasterDooley. How's it going?
Knock, knock. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
I'm freaking tired as hell of that soothsayer. I'm never doing no race past midnight ever again.
Yeah, I know it's a little hard to schedule, especially with people across different time zones. So was glad you guys were able to get it in though.
I've been up since 6 a.m. I feel like absolute garbage right now. And I gotta be up in 4 hours for work anyway. But you know what?
Yo, same. High five.
Yeah, no. But man, what a run.
Yeah, World 3, man. Like, you just got the absolute worst of it to have to deal with all that luck in World 3. It's just like that's this kind of thing. Like we were talking, like that's one of those things you just instantly reset if that happens to you in an RTA attempt. But having to stomach through all of it in a race is pretty brutal.
The funny thing is, you always expect to get eaten, and then I get killed by the shell. It's like, really, man, come on. Because it's like that's the last thing you expect to get killed by. I expect boss bat a troll show, and then 2-3. I don't know what happened there. It was just a mess. I tried having caffeine or Red Bull, and I think that's how I started getting better. But it's not instantaneous, so But yeah, like I said, I cut my thumb at work. That didn't help any, but it's just gotta go with it,
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're in a race, you only get one shot at it. It's like if things start going bad, sometimes they keep going.
I mean, it's just the way it is. I would love to early in the day, but we're in different time zones. Like it's rough. Like people don't understand. It's not that I couldn't. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna make excuses. It's just a matter of like being up for like 20 hours and trying to race. It's different from to warm up and having a rest and whatnot. But it is what it is.
Well, as we mentioned, this is unfortunately the end of your tournament run, but I hope you plan on sticking with the game. I know you like to run a lot of different Mario games, so I don't know what you had next on your plan.
You know what my next thing on my plan is? Sleep.
That's a good thing. Hey, I'm all for that. That sounds awesome.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me in the race. Thank you for Oglo, Laszlo, and all you guys for having this race go on. And hopefully I can race at a time that's not like Twilight or whatever.
Well, thank you again for the race. Go ahead and get some sleep, man. You've definitely earned it.
Have a good one.
Yeah,
make sure to follow everybody.
So yeah, thanks to Dooley. I do want to give a big thanks to Haxor as well for hopping in on this commentary. And as always, big thank you to the Speed Gaming family for putting up with all of our fun stuff and getting all these races restreamed for us. Big shout outs to Tech.
Yeah, they always do a great job. Appreciate it.
But like Dooley, the next thing on my plan is to get some sleep. So hopefully for the rest of you out there, it's on your plan as well. So have a great night, everybody, and thanks for watching.